Alright, class. So, the goal for you guys today is for you to be able to convert fractions to decimals, alright, and then convert decimals to fractions. So, what you want to remember, when you convert fractions to decimals, you can either divide the numerator by the denominator, alright, because a fraction is the same thing as a division problem, right? 3 over 10, that means the same thing as 3 divided by 10. And you know what? If you worked that out, you would get that for an answer. Alright, but the easier way to do it is to convert the denominator to a 10, 100, 1,000, 10,000, and so on. Alright, or 9, 99, or 999. Okay? So, real quick, to review, alright, let's say we've got some random numbers in these blank spaces. Alright, remember, this is the tens place. This is the ones place. Then, the most important part about the video. Alright, this is the tenths place, the hundredths place, the thousandths place, and so on. Alright? Now, as an example, if you took 3/10, alright, and you wanted to write that as a decimal, well look, our denominator is a 10. It's a tenth. The tenth place is that place right after the decimal. And since there's a 3 on top, to write this out as a decimal, it would be 0.3 in the tenths place. So we have 3 tenths. Okay? Tenths place, these are tenths. The 3 goes in the tenths place when we make it a decimal. And then 41 out of 100. It's out of 100. Alright? That's going to be to the hundredths place. So, I've got 41, which when I write that out as a decimal, I get 0.41. And look, the 41, it ends in the hundredths place. Our fraction was out of 100. Alright? And then one more, 2 out of 9. Alright, 2 ninths. Now, whenever you're dealing with ninths, 99ths, 999ths, your decimal is going to repeat. Okay? So, since the 9 is close to the 10, right, that 2 is going to go in the tenths place. Alright, but because it's a 9 underneath, that 2 is going to repeat. So if you put that in the calculator, 2 divided by 9, you would get 0.2222222 and so on. But you don't want to write all those 2's out. So what you're going to want to do is if that 2 repeats, just draw a line over the 2. And that signifies, alright, that tells anyone who's looking at this that that 2 just keeps going and going. Alright, so, get rid of this slide. First, alright, converting fractions to decimals. Alright, let's say I give you, excuse me, 1/2. Alright, well, it might be difficult to figure out what that would be as a decimal. Maybe. Alright, some of you probably know what it is. So what I want to do is see if I can convert that 1/2 into tenths. Turns out I can by multiplying the bottom and top by 5. And when I do that, I get 5 over 10. Since it's the tenths place, that 5 is going to go in the tenths place. And that's my decimal. And if you divided 1 by 2, either by hand or in a calculator, you would get 0.5. Alright, next one. Again, 4/5. Let's see if we can convert it into tenths. Well, we can easily. Just multiply the bottom by 2 and then, of course, multiply the top by 2. And we get 8/10. So, our decimal is 0.8. That 8 is in the tenths place. Alright? Now, 1/4. I cannot put 4 into 10. Alright, by just multiplying it by a whole number. So let's see if we can put that 4 into 100. Well, turns out we can multiply that 4 by 25 to get 100. So I'm going to multiply the top number by 25 also, and I'm going to get 25 out of 100, or 25 hundredths. So look, this is to the hundredths place. Or sorry, not to the hundredths place. This is a hundredth. Alright, 25 hundredths. So when I write as a decimal, I'm going to write 0.25, and that 5 ends in the hundredths place. Number 4, 2/3. Well, I know I can't put that 3 into 10. I can't put it into 100. I can't put it into 1,000. All right, no matter what, 3's not going to go into that evenly. So let's see if it'll go into a 9. Turns out it does. By multiplying the top and bottom by 3, I turn this into 6/9. Now, like I said from the last slide, whenever you have ninths, that means your decimal is going to repeat. Since the 9 is close to 10, alright, that 6 is going to be in the tenths place. And since the denominator is a 9, that 6 is going to repeat. So I'm going to write 0.6 with a line over it. Number 5, 3/8. Turns out 8 doesn't go into 10, doesn't go into 100, doesn't go into 99 or 9 or 999, but it will go into 1,000. So by multiplying 8 by 125, I get 1,000. So then I'm going to multiply the top number by 125 and get 375. Now, since it's to the thousandths, right, when I write 0.375, look where that ends. Tenths, hundredths, thousandths place. Just like it was out of 1,000 when it was a fraction. Alright, number 6. 13 out of 250, we're going to convert that to thousandths. When we do that, we get 52 thousandths. And when I write that as a decimal, I'm going to get 0.052. Alright? No matter what, that 2 needs to end on the thousandths place. So that means the 5 comes next. But you have to have something in there for the tenths place. So you can just put a 0 in. Number 7, 7 out of 25 converts to 28 out of 100, which can be written as 0.28. Number 8, alright, 16 over 33. 33 is not going to go into 10, 100, or 1,000, 10,000, but it will go into 99. So I'm going to multiply the top and bottom by 3. This turns into 48 out of 99. And what's 99 close to? It's close to 100. So our decimal should end in the hundredths place, which it does. And then since it's out of 99, that 48 is going to repeat. So if you put that in a calculator, you would get 0.48484848. And since the 48 repeats, I put a line over the 4 and the 8. Number 9, convert this fraction to thousandths, write it as a decimal, 0.192. And number 10, 21 out of 111. Well, won't go into 10, 100, or 1,000, 10,000. Won't go into 9, 99. But it will go into 999 by multiplying the bottom by 9 and the top. It turns into 189. Since these are all 9s, I know that decimal is going to repeat. And since 999 is close to 1,000, I know my number is going to end on or in the thousandths place. Alright? So you write out 0.189. And since this is going to repeat, you put a line over the whole thing. Now, try and convert these into decimals on your own. Pause the video. I'll be right back. Alright, so 2/5. You should have figured out that 2/5 is going to go into tenths. So, we got 10. When I do 5 times 2, I get 10. So I'm going to multiply the top by 2. When I do that, I'm going to get 4 tenths, which, when I write that out, will be 0.4 in the tenth place. Alright, next one. 11 out of 20. Well, I know 20 is going to go into 100, so I'm going to make this out of 100. Well, in order to go from 20 to 100, I need to multiply by 5. So I'm going to multiply the bottom by 5 and the top. When I do that, 11 times 5 is 55. And now I know that this is out of 100. So it should end in the hundredths place. 0.55 tenths hundredths. Alright, next one. 7/11ths. Well, I actually know 11 is going to go into 99. So I'm going to turn this into 99ths. In order to go from 11 to 99, I have to multiply by 9. So I'm going to multiply the top by 9. 7 times 9 is 63. So when I change this into a decimal, 99 is close to 100. So our decimal should end in the hundredths place. But since those are 9s on bottom, we know that decimal is going to repeat. So we should get 0.63, and that 63 is going to repeat. So you should have put in a line over it. Alright, next one. 51 out of 200. Well, that's going to actually convert to thousandths. So, in order to go from 200 to 1,000, I have to multiply by 5, which means I need to multiply the top by 5. When I do that, 51 times 5, that's going to give me 255. So when I write that out as a decimal, you should write 0.255. And this last one. Alright, well, 333, the only number I can think of that that's going to go into is 999. So, I'm going to make this 999ths. In order to go from 333 to 999, I have to multiply by 3. So I'm going to multiply the top by 3. When I multiply 312 by 3, I get 936. Alright, but that 936 is going to repeat because my denominator is all 9s. So when I write that out, it's going to be 0.936. I'm going to put a line over it because that 0.936 is going to repeat. It would actually end up equaling 0.936, 936, 936, 936 forever, alright? An infinite amount of times. So, now, converting decimals to fractions. Alright, this is a little trickier, okay? We'll write this down. Alright, to convert decimals to fractions, you want to look at where the last number ends. If it ends in the 10th place, write the decimal over 10. If it ends in the 100th place, write the decimal over 100. Now, if the decimal is repeating and it ends in the 10th place, write the decimal over 9. If the decimal is repeating and it ends in the 100th place, you want to write the decimal over 99. Alright, let's get this all down, but I'm going to slide it away, so you should probably pause the video to finish copying this. Alright, and then these problems. Alright, so let's see, where do I go? Number 1. Okay, I got 0.4. Look, that 4 is in the 10th place. So what I want to do is put that 4 on top and make it out of 10. Alright, so there's my fraction, 4 tenths. But it's not simplified, and I always want you guys to simplify your fractions. So 4 tenths is going to simplify to 2 fifths. Alright, number 2, 0.9. That 9 ends in the 10th place. So I want to make that 9 out of 10. Alright, pretty easy. Number 3, 0.66. We'll look at where that last number ends. It ends in the 100th place. So all you got to do is write this number over 100. Alright, but we want to write it in simplest form, so we're going to divide the top and bottom by 2, and it's actually going to reduce to 33 over 50. Alright, number 4. Alright, here's our first repeating decimal. Check it out. We got 0.3 and that 3 repeats. Well look, that 3 is in the 10th place. Okay, but it's repeating. So, instead of out of 10, we want to make it out of 9. Okay, and then just write that number on top. 3/9, which when you reduce it, is going to turn into 1/3. And if you put this in a calculator, which I bet a lot of you have seen this before, that 3 is going to keep going on and on and on forever. It's never going to stop. Number 5, 0.7. Alright, look. That's the 10th place, but it's repeating, so we want to make it out of 9, and then just put the number on top. 7/9. That's it. Alright, number 6, 0.102. Alright, we'll look where it ends. Tenths, hundredths, thousandths. So, you want to write this number over 1,000. But we can reduce it by dividing the top and bottom by 2, so it's actually going to turn into 51 over 500. Number 7, 0.45. Oh, alright. We got 2 digits that keep repeating. Well, look where it ends. 10th place, 100th place. But it's repeating. So, we're going to make it out of 99, and we're just going to put that number on top. 45 out of 99. But, actually, we can reduce this, and when we do, it's going to turn into 5 over 11, just by dividing the top and bottom by 9. Number 8, 0.12, tenths, hundredths. So we're going to put that 12 out of 100. When we do that, it's going to simplify to 3/25. Number 9, 0.647. All right, look. Tenths, hundredths, thousandths. But it's repeating. So take one away. Make it out of 999. Okay? And then just write that number over top of it. And that's just going to be our answer. Number 10, 0.91. All right, well, it's repeating, and it ends in the tenths, hundredths place. So instead of out of 100, make it out of 99. And then just write that number on top, and that's my answer. So I want you all to try 11 through 15. See if you can get them. Pause the video, and I'll be right back. Alright, so first one. We got 0.8. Well, that 8 is in the tenths place. So I want to write that 8 all over. Oh, you know what? That looks terrible. Let me just use my finger to get rid of that. Ugh. So we got 8 out of 10. But you guys know that can be simplified by dividing the top and bottom by 2. So it's actually going to turn into 4. Oh, I don't know what I am doing. 4/5. There we go. Sorry. Alright, number 12. 0.42. Well, look. It ends in the tenths, hundredths place. Right? So I'm going to write this number out of 100. But you guys should see that we can actually divide the top and bottom by 2. When I do that, I get 21 all over 50. And I can't reduce it anymore, so that's my answer. Alright, number 13. 0.5. Well, that 5 is in the tenths place, but it's repeating. So instead of out of 10, let's make it out of 9. Then we'll put that 5 on top. And that's it. That's our fraction. Alright, number 14. 0.253. Okay. It ends in the tenths, hundredths, thousandths place. Alright, so thousandths place. That means I want to put this fraction over 1,000. So I'm going to write 253 on top. And that's it. Doesn't simplify, so that's my answer. And then the last one, 0.63. Well, 63, it ends in the hundredths place, but it's repeating. So we want to make it out of not 100, but 99. So I'm going to write the fraction bar, 99 on bottom, 63 on top. But we can actually simplify this fraction. If I divide the top and bottom by 9, I'm going to get 7 all over, again, 7 all over 11. Alright, and that's it. Alright, so hopefully you guys did well. We're going to be working on a lot of problems that deal with this. A lot of word problems. Because I think you guys are going to get the hang of this pretty quick. Okay? So I hope you're having a great night. I'll see you all tomorrow.